Hey everybody, welcome to Eagles Game Plan presented by Toyota. The Birds are home underdogs against the Cowboys, and the division is on the line. Can the Eagles do what they did to the Redskins against the Cowboys at home? Control the clock with the running backs in the running game and the passing game? Well, let's break down Miles Sanders' performance. 172 total yards in Washington. Here's tape study presented by Chickies and Pete's with our own Fran Duffy and the head coach, Doug Peterson.
Well, happy to welcome back to the show this week Eagles head coach Doug Peterson. Coach, welcome back. Big win this week.
Yeah, appreciate it.
And we want to focus, one of the big storylines coming out of this game is the rookie running back, Miles Sanders. Obviously, a record-breaking day, a couple of big runs coming off of draw plays. So I thought, let's look at those draw plays and just kind of break them down and explain to the fans why they worked.
Yeah, so basically any draw, depending on where your tight ends are, they're either going to be a 5-man box count or a 6-man box count. So what do I mean by that? You got 1, 2, 3, 4, you got 5, and really because Dallas is displaced, we want a 5-man box. And so this is exactly what we got. This play was also killed to a pass if we didn't get the 5, if we got a 6 or a 7-man, or if they were going to bring any type of pressure. So we got exactly what we were hoping for with this particular call. And then really it's just a matter of the offensive line just sorting everything out up front as they do. In fact, in this one here, you're going to see Isaac right here. They run a little game up front. It's third down, so obviously they're going to get their pass rush games. You see Isaac shove 94. Here comes 51 wrapping around. Great patience by Miles. And then vision on number 20. This is what he's seeing. He's obviously seeing the rush, but he's keying number 20 right here. And that's where he put his foot in the ground. And in his case, went to the right away from number 20. And obviously well blocked up front. And then Miles' speed and burst did the rest. Was able to get the first down for us. It was a really big play in this game.
One of the beauties of the draw play, they have very well-defined run lanes. You mentioned the light box, and you certainly saw that on that play. You see it here on this play as well.
You see it here. So now if you look at it, now we're looking at the Redskins here. You know, now obviously we got 6 guys in the box. So Carson does have the ability to kill this play and obviously go to a pass, which we had tagged with this. But when he hard counted, he saw 53 get out of there. So now it became a 5-man box. Pressure was coming away. And again, he knew that we were either going to hit this gap here or all the way back, sort of out the back side with this particular play. And so he let this one run because he knew we could run away from the pressure. So again, well-blocked play. You know, we are light. There is one extra coming. And then again, Miles does an outstanding job of finding daylight. We have well blocked down the field, and this one went for about 56 yards, I believe. Big play in this game, 3rd and 10, an opportunity to keep us on the field. But again, well executed. Quarterback has options on this play. And then putting it in Miles' hands, who's very electric, very explosive, finished off with a nice run.
And that run put him over the record-breaking amount for scrimmage yards in a rookie season for Deshaun Jackson, rushing yards in a rookie season for LaShawn McCoy, so a big play there. And one of the other big plays in this game came in the passing game to Miles Sanders, and making this play in the scramble drill. Take us through what Carson sees here.
Yeah, so, you know, obviously we know Miles as a runner, but Miles as a pass receiver, too. He's just been very electric in catching the ball out of the backfield. And so, number one, you can see Carson's vision is he's looking at the one-on-one matchup right here with Dallas Goedert in the slot. And all Dallas is doing is trying to nod the safety and then work a seam route. But what ends up happening, you can see right here, he gets sort of rerouted just a little bit, so Carson gets off of that. If he gets off and really truly gets back through his progression, he has Zach Ertz coming back into his vision right there. But he gets pressure in the pocket, so now it turns into scramble mode, and so we go into our red zone scramble rules. Does he have the ability to run? He sure does. It's 2nd down, so he could get maybe a 1st down by running, but he extends the play with his legs. Miles does an outstanding job of just sort of finding space. We always talk about the back half of the end zone being the least protected area of the field, and sure enough, you can see where everybody's at. They're halfway in the end zone, and so this is the area that's least defended. So, I mean, what a throw. I mean, there's 3 Redskins and an Eagle in a straight line when you watch this from the end zone, and you're like, how does this ball find its target? It did. Miles made a tremendous play in the back corner of the end zone for a huge play in this game, a touchdown, and help us win this football game.
What's your vantage point of seeing that on the field, on the sideline?
Well, I'm standing back here on the white stripe, obviously, and so I'm looking right down the sideline at this throw, and I'm just going, there's no way this ball is going to find its target. And sure enough, it did. I had a great view of it, and I saw that he was in. I knew it was going to be a touchdown, just waiting for the official replay.
Eagles Game Plan is brought to you by your local tri-state Toyota dealers, a proud automotive partner of the Philadelphia Eagles. NovaCare Rehabilitation, the power of physical therapy. And by McDonald's. I'm loving it.
Come on! Oh! Let's go! Let's go! What a day! Set! Come on! Let's freaking roll. Pull one together. Believe in each other, make some plays. Come on, kid! Hey, we gonna win this game. Let's go put another one in now. G1, baby! Great Lord, you son of a gun! Let's go!
Oh, you can see how excited and fired up Carson Wentz was. Carson and the kids got it done. Carson was perfect on that game-winning drive against the Redskins, 8 for 8. 4 of those passes went to Greg Ward. How amazing was Greg Ward on that drive and the game-winning touchdown?
Just really impressive. A young guy like that in this moment to step up and play the way he played, very impressive. And all of these young guys, the contribution that they're making, it's really important for this football team, especially now. And on this play, John, you get a lot of confusion. They ran this play earlier in the game, and Zach Ertz got wide open. You've got a bunch set over here, and when you get that and you get a lot of traffic going, the defenders, many times, they're displaced. So Zach Ertz, Whiteside, they both are going to go outside. And you're going to get Greg Ward going across the field. With all of this confusion, with all of this traffic, Josh Norman's got to try and trail and catch up to Greg Ward going across the field, and it just doesn't happen. I love Carson Wentz here. He doesn't even set his feet, but he's such a good athlete. He knows how to place the ball even when he can't set his feet. It's almost a jump, and he plants the ball perfectly on the outside where Greg Ward can get it, where Josh Norman can't catch up to it, and that's perfect execution right there. All of that congestion frees him up. It's a play, as I said, that they ran earlier in the game when they got it to Ertz. Ward was open the first time. This time they get it to Greg Ward, and it's a huge play in the football game.
Enemy Intel is brought to you by Rothman Orthopedics at Jefferson Health, the official orthopedics and healthcare partner of the Philadelphia Eagles.
The Eagles offense this week will be up against the Dallas Cowboys defense that they're very familiar with and can be very, very good. Let's just start by taking a look at the foundation of this defense, and that's the defensive line. They have a very strong rotation with some really good people. As far as pass rush, when they go into their sub fronts, they have 2 bookends in DeMarcus Lawrence and Robert Quinn. They both can individually cause problems. Now, they don't blitz an awful lot, but what they do, they'll stunt a lot up front with a multiple stunt game, and when they do blitz on occasion, they're very efficient with it. The Eagles know that. They caught the Eagles when they played Week 7, and they also caught the Rams this past week. And one guy who's a major part of their blitz game is their slot corner, Jordan Lewis. And the play we want to look at here is very representative of what the Cowboys do with the combination stunt game and blitz game off the slot. So let's start with the stunt game, because that's where it all really begins here, because the Rams are actually going to slide their offensive line to Malik Collins and Robert Quinn. So what happens here is it's going to be a TE stunt. Collins is the picker and Quinn is the looper. So now what happens, even though it's 3-on-2 and you'd think that the Rams are fine, this particular stunt causes problems for the left guard and his attention becomes focused on the looper Quinn. Now you add in the slot corner blitz by Jordan Lewis. So as I said, even though the Rams have 3 to block, they get caught up in the stunt game, and the blitz by Jordan Lewis breaks down the protection. He gets a clean run at Jared Goff. This is something you must be aware of. This Cowboys defense starts up front. If the Eagles cannot control this front 4, both when they run the football and in pass protection, it will be a long, long late afternoon. If they can control them, then the Eagles offense will be able to move the ball with efficiency.
All right, Ike Reese and Mike Quick, that last game in Dallas where the Eagles lost 37-10, you saw Carson Wentz get hit. He was sacked 3 times. He had the interception, and he lost 2 fumbles.
Yes.
How do they better protect him in this matchup at home against the Cowboys?
Well, I think it begins with not making mistakes. When you fall behind 2 touchdowns to the Dallas Cowboys, you got a problem because you have to play catch up, and that means throwing the ball a lot. And when you don't have a big play guy that can take it the distance on one play, it's very difficult to catch up in those situations. So, in my mind, it starts with those self-inflicted wounds, making sure that they don't happen.
Yeah, you certainly got to be able to cut that out. I mean, the fact that the Eagles started that game off with 2 turnovers and you're down 14-0 before you blink, that game was basically over early and the team started to press. If you want to avoid having Carson feel as if he needs to do everything himself, which at times leads to him holding on to the ball, you got to run the ball effectively this time around. And that's going to start with A, getting positive yardage on first downs, B, staying out of 3rd and long situations. And you can't fall behind early in this game. You can't fall behind by double digits because it's going to be difficult to run your way back into the game. If we can establish a run game early, I think that's going to allow Carson to sort of get comfortable throwing the ball, and that's going to limit a lot of the turnovers that Dallas was able to take advantage of.
Winning on 1st and 2nd down is going to be a key.
All right, boys, here we go. Here we go, BG. Starting fast now, all right? Right now. Right now. Right now. Y'all gotta come with that double team at some point now. Touchdown! Touchdown! Boom! Yes, sir! I'm out. I'm going to the locker room.
Oh, Fletcher Cox had some fun mic'd up against the Giants, but here's the thing. Against the Redskins, the Eagles' defensive front, no sacks and no quarterback hits at all. That has got to change against the Cowboys. We saw Fletcher Cox. He had a sack against the Cowboys in Dallas, but the defensive line needs to step up in this game, right?
That's going to be so important, that the defensive line plays well, that they are effective in disrupting the offensive line of the Cowboys, the timing in the passing game, as well as the run game. You know how good Ezekiel Elliott is, and he's really torched this defense every game he's played against this defense. Fletcher Cox is going to get double teamed, so he's going to have 2 pair of hands on him most of the game. So I think Timmy Journey is going to have to win. I think Brandon Graham is going to have to win. Whatever guy gets a one-on-one matchup, they've got to win in those situations.
Yeah, and Fletcher's always enjoyed playing against the Dallas Cowboys. He loves the matchup against Travis Fredericks and Zach Martin in the inside there. He's had success in the past. And then, like Mike just mentioned, you talk about Brandon Graham and potentially Derek Barnett or Josh Sweat on the outside, with Vinny Curry going up against Tyron Smith on the left side. Tyron struggled with those guys in that first game. Derek Barnett had a sack and he forced another sack. And then I like Brandon Graham going up against Collins on that other side. I still view Brandon as a Pro Bowl caliber player. Collins, one of the better young right tackles in the league. But I like this matchup, and the only way the Eagles have any chance of slowing down this offense, whether it be against the run game with Ezekiel Elliott or affecting Dak in the pocket, throwing the ball, it's going to be with those guys up front. It's going to start with those guys up front. Mike mentioned about the playoff atmosphere it's going to be, and you're going to need those guys up front, Fletcher Cox, Brandon Graham, to really lead the way.
That is going to be the key to the game in my mind, how well the big guys up front are able to affect the Dallas Cowboys offensive line.
There are a lot of great individual matchups with the Cowboys' offensive line and the Eagles' defensive line. But let's be realistic here. The Cowboys' offense at its very best, as it was against the Rams, starts with the running game and Ezekiel Elliott. And here's a stat for you. Think about this for a minute. Through 3 quarters against the Rams, the Cowboys ran 56 offensive plays. Elliott carried the ball 22 of those 56 plays. That's 40% of the Cowboys' offense was an Ezekiel Elliott rush through 3 quarters when the game was at least marginally competitive. This is a very multiple run game that the Cowboys have with Ezekiel Elliott, and they do a lot of different things, so it's a very difficult run game to defend. The play we want to look at is very reflective of what the Cowboys do. It really has multiple elements within one play. It has both guards pulling to the outside in what we call a GG pull scheme. But it also has the fullback, Alawali, as an ISO lead blocker. So there's 2 separate things that the second level of the defense, Nate Gary and TJ Edwards, have to deal with. Makes it very difficult. Gary in particular, his eyes are immediately grabbed by the ISO lead action of the offset fullback, Alawali. But then the 2 guards pull opposite the ISO lead action of the fullback. Gary gets sucked in, and Elliott is able to get to the edge cleanly and run for 11 yards. This play is very representative of the Cowboys. So it all starts with the run game and Ezekiel Elliott. And it was clear from studying the tape against the Rams that the Cowboys, after losing 3 straight games, decided that Ezekiel Elliott was the foundation of their offense, and that's where it all starts. And that means that's where it all starts for the Eagles defense.
Yeah, you go back to the Eagles' loss in Dallas. They gave up 189 rushing yards, and 30 of those were from Dak Prescott. So watch out for Dak running with the ball. We saw a little bit of that in Washington. How can the Eagles better defend against the quarterback who runs with it?
Well, you got to have proper alignment, first of all, when you line up. And you got to understand, Dallas is a team that can beat you 2 ways, so it makes it difficult for a defense. You certainly want to clue in on where number 21 is at all times, but you want to be also conscious of the ability for them to have play action, pass, and throw the ball. And sometimes it can get us in trouble because Zeke is such a good runner. Our front 7, they're so hell-bent on focusing in on stopping him, it can hurt us at times. And Greg just showed us a play where we were sort of misaligned, and we allowed the fullback to sort of give us a false read here. So you watch here, this play back in Washington this past weekend, and they have a nice setup here. You got a heavy formation over here to the left. So you got TJ Edwards, you got Nigel Bradham, you got Malcolm Jenkins over here, along with Nate Gary. They're thinking run. This is what the formation is saying. Play the run to this side. But here's where TJ Edwards has to be a little more conscious of what the Redskins are trying to do to you. If you go back a little bit, you want him to be lined up a little more over here so that he has 2 ways to play this game. Take your eyes off of that fullback. That's a false read here. Now you watch this run to the right side. This is a great play call from the Redskins. They had the Eagles outnumbered. Now they got hurt on this play earlier when the defender took Dwayne Haskins. He was able to flip it out to Adrian Peterson for a big run, so the Eagles make an adjustment. Duke Riley takes Adrian Peterson this time, but you got the left tackle up on your safety and Rodney McLeod. He gets him kicked out here. You get the D-line sealed in there, and because you get a false read from the linebacker to this side, boy, look at this. Look at all this grass for Dwayne Haskins to run. He's looking for somewhere to get down. He's uncomfortable in that much open space. And this is what Dak Prescott has the ability to do. A much better runner than Dwayne Haskins. So it's going to be difficult. It's not easy because you obviously want to respect the play action fakes to Ezekiel Elliott. But you got to realize that Dak Prescott is a dangerous threat at the quarterback position, running the football, one of the best in the game, a big guy, tough to bring down. I would expect that to be a part of the Cowboys' offensive running game.
All right, we laid out the game plan to beat the Cowboys. Cowboys have beaten the Eagles 4 straight times. This is going to be a tough one. If you want more X's and O's, the breakdowns, check out our Eagle Eye in the Sky podcast, wherever podcasts are available. I'm John Clark for Eagles Game Plan presented by Toyota. Enjoy the NFC East Showdown. Eagles Game Plan is brought to you by your local tri-state Toyota dealers, a proud automotive partner of the Philadelphia Eagles. NovaCare Rehabilitation, the power of physical therapy. And by McDonald's. I'm loving it.